Hello, so I'm going to be talking about Chapter 4, what exactly it is, and the tissue levels of organization. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, the level of structural organizations is broken down into chemical, cellular, tissue, organ systems, and organismal. Chemical is the smallest, which has atoms combined into molecules. Cellular, which is cells made up of molecules. Tissue, which are different cell types. Organs, which are made up of different tissues. And organ systems that are made up of organs that work together. And lastly, organismals, which consist of organ systems. Diving into tissues, there are different types. The four main types, which are epithelial, connective, muscle, and nerve. The picture on the right describes all four and how they look. Going into tissue epithelial, has cellularity. It is composed almost entirely of cells. It has special contacts that form continuous sheets that are held together by tight junctions and desmos. Polarity, it has polarity and apical and basal surfaces. It's supported by connective tissues, reticular and basal laminae. It is avascular but innervated. It contains no blood vessels, but it is supported by nerve fibers. It is regenerative, which means that it rapidly replaces old cells by cell division. Changing subjects just a little bit, we have the junctions in the cell. It is broken into three different types: tight junction, gap junction, and anchoring junction. As you can see on the right, it gives a little bit more information about each one. Types of cells in the epithelial tissue. Now, this is broken up, as you can see on the picture on the right as well, into simple, stratified, being on top, and going from side to side is squamous, cubital, and columnar, and lastly, transitional epithelial. Diving into glandular epithelia, you can see a picture right on the right of what it looks like. It is a gland of one or more cells that makes and secretes a aqueous fluid. This can be something like the sweat gland, and it releases endocrine and exocrine glands. It is related number of cells forming in the gland, either unicellular or multicellular. Talking about each gland, we have endocrine and exocrine. Endocrine glands are ductless glands that produce hormones, the secretion of amino acids, proteins, and glycoproteins, and steroids. It secretes outside of their cell and lets interstitial fluids pick it up. Comparing to exocrine glands, there's actually more exocrine glands than there are endocrine glands. It secretes their products onto body surfaces and body cavities. This can be something like mucus, sweat, oil, salivary glands. The goblet cells are most and only important unicellular gland. It is multicellular, and exocrine glands are composed of ducts and secretory units. Now, talking about the modes of glandular secretion, they are broken down into three different types, being A, B, and C. A being the first one, which is merocrine secretion. It is when the cell still is intact. B being the apocrine secretion, where the apical portion of the cell is being released, and C being the holocrine secretion, the last part of the secretion, where the cell is destroyed and releases its product, and the cell itself becomes part of the secretion. Now, talking about the sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland. It secretes oil that is later lubricating and protecting the skin. The holocrine glands that are destroyed after being released, then later create new ones and replace the old ones. Moving on to tissues, connective tissues, they are throughout the body, and it is actually the most distributed tissue out of all of them. It has connective tissue proper, cartilage, bones, blood, and its functions include biting and supporting, protection, insulation, and transportation. As you can see by the photo on the right, this is how connective tissue actually looks under a microscope. Now, the characteristics for connective tissue include a mesenchyme as their common tissue of origin. It has varying degrees of vascularity, non-living extracellular matrix that consists of ground and substance fibers. It is a ground substance, and it is unstructured material that fills the spaces between the cells. Its fibers include collagen, elastic, and reticular, and the cells have fibroblasts, chondroblasts, osteoblasts, and hematopoietic stem cells. Moving on to the fibers, there are three types. You have collagen, which provides high tensile strength, elastic, containing long, thin fibers that allow for strength, called elastin. It can be found in lungs, skin, blood, and vessels. It is reticular as the third type, which are branched collagenous fibers that form delicate networks which support and wrap. Moving on to cells, the hematopoietic stem cells, when they are produced, are called blasts and secrete the matrix. When they do become mature, they are called cytes and later become blasts if the matrix is damaged or it needs repair. Fibroblasts, connective tissue propers, chondroblast cartilage, osteoblast bones, and hematopoietic stem cells or blood. The right photo shows the difference between the animal cell and the plant cell, which are pretty similar. Connective tissue proper. It includes fixed cells such as the fibrocytes, adipocytes, and mesenchymal cytes. The macrophages, mast cells, lymphocytes, plasma cells, and phagocytic cells all are connective tissue propers. Moving on to the loose connective tissue proper, the areolar connective tissue, which is a gel-like matrix with collagen, elastic, and reticular tissue fibers. It wraps and cushions organs. It distributes throughout the body, and adipose tissue consists of fat cells within the extracellular matrix. It stores fat for energy and provides insulation. Continuing on, the matrix is similar to areolar connective tissue with closely packed adipocytes, which are fat cells. It reserves food, insulates against heat loss, and supports and protects. It's found under the skin, around kidneys, within the abdomen, and the breast. Reticular tissue, it is a loose connective tissue made up of networks of reticular fibers. It provides support framework for soft organs. It is a loose ground substance with reticular fibers, and these reticular cells lie in a fiber network. It forms a soft internal skeleton and supports other types of cells. It's found in the lymph nodes, bone marrow, and the spleen. Dense connective tissue. It consists of collagenous fibers packed into parallel bundles. These parallel collagen fibers with a few elastic fibers, and its major type is fibroblast. It is attached to muscles to bones and bones to muscles. It's found in tendons, ligaments, and aponeurosis. It consists of collagenous fibers packed into parallel bundles, and it is interwoven into mesh-like networks. The dense irregular connective tissue proper is arranged in collagen fibers with some elastic fibers. Its major type is fibroblast, and it withstands tension in many directions, and it gives strength to the structure. This can be found in the dermis, the submucosa of the digestive tract, fibrous organ, and joint capsule. There are different types of cartilage, first one being hyaline, second fibrocartilage, elastic cartilage being the third. Now, hyaline just to give a little insight, provides support with some flexibility, and it also forms the costal cartilage, supports and reinforces, so cushions and resists the compression. This can be found in the embryonic skeleton. Fibrocartilage provides tensile strength and absorbs some compression shocks. And these are in the discs of the knee joints. Elastic cartilage provides shape and structure, allowing flexibility and support to the inner ear. Now, the connective tissue bone, which is osseous tissue, is a hard classified matrix collagen fibers found in bones. It's found in ligaments and vascularies. It supports, protects, provides levels of muscular action. It stores calcium, minerals, and fat. The marrow inside of the site is hematopoiesis. The fluid connective tissue contains aerothyrocytes and leukocytes that are circulated in liquid extracellular matrix. It has red and white blood cells in the fluid matrix, which is the plasma, and it contains within the blood vessels. Its functions include transport of respiratory gases, nutrients, and waste. The muscle tissues have skeletal muscles, prominent striation of muscles on their periphery, long cylindrical cells with striations. These are found in the skeletal muscles and attaches bones to skin, or attaches to bones or skin. There is smooth muscles. It's a single nucleus. It's not visible. It doesn't have the visible striations, and it is sheets of spindle-shaped cells within the central nuclei. It's found within the walls of the hollow organs, and lastly, the cardiac muscle, which appears striated and single nucleus. These can be found within the walls of the heart. Lastly, we have the neuron. It's the cell of the neuron stigma. It contains the nucleus and the mitochondria, then transfer the neuron impulses to the soma. Axons carry the action potential away to other accessible cells. Nerve tissue, it's made up of neurons and neuroglia, can specialize to transmit and receive impulses. Thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you were able to get enough information within such a short time. And the levels of organization within the cell.